before Memorial Day, and I am getting some exercise. I'm walking along the track here. There's a park district here. That's a pretty park. There's a school. This is last time I was here. This is where I saw the green parakeets. But I wanted to talk to you today about your health being your wealth and your wealth being your health. So we hear, you know, every day almost about the haunted virus, and now there's Ebola, and all sorts of things that can make us sick and hurt us, possibly, take us out. And every time I come on here, I just want to, make you guys aware of some things. So today we're going to talk about a few herbs that you guys can use. So I always say, vitamin C is a great immune booster. Um, if you don't know it, you guys should know it by now. I mean, that's been pretty much plastered everywhere, right? Um, get your vitamin C in your fruits as much as you can. Your juices, you can buy those fruits and make your own juice. That's one. And then vitamin D3. So if you can't get it from the sun, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? Yes, isn't that just beautiful? You can't get it from naturally from the sun, um, then you need to take you a quality supplement. And I have a link that I'll post, and you guys can get it from my wellness store. There are the products that we have are all of them are non-GMO. They're organic. They're properly sourced, consciously sourced. There are no fillers or anything, no preservatives, none of that bullshit that you can get at GNC or you know Nature's Way. You go to Walgreens and across the aisle they've got antacid, but they're gonna sell you vitamin C and vitamin D. I mean, can you really trust that? Hey Yenzal, hey Evans, a selfie. I got my glasses on, guys, and I still can't see that. So sorry if I'm mispronouncing anybody's name. Glad you guys came in. So vitamin D3, right? It's good for your immune system. It's a cancer fighter. Here in the Midwest, we don't have access to as much sun, as folks, along the equator in the more southern hemisphere, right? Because our season is so short. So it's important that you get a quality supplement. Now, I want to talk to you guys too about a couple of things today, right? Not just herbs. So while we're talking about vitamin D3, and you need the vitamin K2. So get you something, a quality supplement that has vitamin D3 and K2. So your calcium is actually pulled into your bones and not your arteries and things like that. Hey guys, come on in, come on in. Oh, wait. Who is this? Thank you, Maverick. Thank you, Maverick. Hello, Lucia. Come on in, guys. Um, so, yes, you need vitamin K2 with your vitamin D3 to properly absorb that. It is a fat soluble vitamin. That means to properly absorb it, you need to be eating something fatty, right? We always talk about healthy fats, so avocado, right? Whole grains. If you want to get bread, you can get the sprouted bread, right? They make vegan bread that's sprouted bread. I'll be honest, I like that sprouted bread. I think it tastes better toasted. I don't really I don't really care for it just, out the bag. I haven't found one that's good like that unless I make it on my own. You know. So, do when you can. Make your own stuff at home. Because y'all, they out here trying to poison us. They out here trying to poison us. Um, a friend of mine, and I'll see if I can link the video. I think it was from Instagram, but Driscoll's. Um, I'm sure you all have heard of it. You know, Driscoll sells the strawberries and blueberries and all of that, and they're very expensive. And they make so-called organic um, berries from that line. But a study came out showing the amount of pesticides is just, I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal. And they're charging you $6, you know, for a pint of blueberries that's got a bunch of bleach that was rinsed in fucking bleach and, you know, other pesticides and shit. So, you know, you think you're doing something right, and then you're still, you know, inadvertently poisoning your body. Yes, you're absolutely. Who is that, Maverick? You're absolutely right. AEDK, yes, are all fat soluble. So when you take those vitamins, you you want to be conscious of that because you don't want to be pissing out expensive vitamins and supplements. You know, take those after a meal, and it doesn't have to be heavy. You know, you can take it after lunch. You know, vitamin C, it's water soluble. So you could take that, you know, first thing in the morning. Your body will extract what it doesn't need, right? So that's important to know too. Back to Driscoll's, but yeah. So I like to give you guys alternatives, right? When and whenever possible, if you can get to a farmer's market, those Amish stands, you know, hey, even in your neighborhood, if you got somebody that's growing stuff, you know, hey, you know, do you mind sharing? I'll buy, you know, whatever. Or like with us, you know, we grow a lot of our own stuff. There's someone in the neighborhood who has a rooster. They sell a dozen of eggs for $5. So when I go over there, I'm gonna say, hey, I've got fresh lettuce, you know, we've got tomatoes, we've got peppers, you know, and I don't use any pesticides. Yes, I am. I'm on my walk. I'm getting my steps in, trying to get that blood pumping into these arteries, right? Trying to move this lymphatic system. So, but yeah, we're coming to the point in time where your skills are going to be key, right? AI is taking over. People are getting laid off left and right. You know, I'm at a company now where we laid off about 15 or so people. And guess who they brought in? They brought in temps. They brought in temps. So it's like, what the fuck? Now I have to waste my time training these temps for 4 months because that's only, you know, their contract's only for 4 months. But they're getting paid half that. Exactly. Survival of the fittest. You know. So, Coursera is a great resource. If you want to get, you know, stack your certifications, right? I tell anybody, yes. Oh yeah, it was, yeah, because of layoffs. Yes, absolutely. So when you go on Coursera, get those certifications that will be in high demand. So I want you guys to do this when you have some time. Go to, you could use ChatGPT or Claude, and I want you to type in this prompt. First, you're going to upload your current resume. Upload your current resume. You guys should only be putting 7 to 10 years of work experience on your resume. Don't date yourself. So you came out of school, you know, in the 80s and the 90s. Don't put your graduation year on there. Just say the school that you graduated from and leave it at that. Ageism is critical. We no longer have the DEI. We no longer have affirmative action. They're doing everything they can to get qualified people of color, African Americans, minorities out of the mix. Okay? Follow me. After you put your resume in there, and maybe you tell it, okay, I've got 20 years in healthcare experience. I'm an IT, or whatever your specialty is, and you say, what free certifications can I use with whatever your current education level is, if it's high school, bachelor's, whatever. Then you say, what what area should I specialize in that will be in high demand within the next 5 to 20 years? So I'm in my 40s. I am going to be retiring, right? Sooner than later. So prompt that, and it will give you the top 5 industries that you can go into. So Maverick, I'm a consultant. So I consult with this, it's a healthcare organization that's doing this layoff and restructuring and stuff. So it will give you a list. When it gives you that list, you go through that and you see what interests you. Whatever interests you, say, okay, option number, whatever. Say it's cybersecurity. And you say, okay, I'm interested in cybersecurity. What schools can I go to that's 1, accredited, 2, cheapest, and 3, if you want remote, put remote on there, and 4, will graduate me the quickest. Well, so Maverick, what is your background? Are you already in IT? Because sometimes, it's all an algorithm, right? So they look at your resume and they say, if they see a bunch of IT stuff, then that would be kind of predictable that they would, give you AI. But you can say, outside of AI, right? You can try that. Try to say, outside of AI. And even with AI, look into cybersecurity, because you got to have some type of checks and balances, right? On the back end. So that's where cybersecurity, is gonna be top. Oh, okay, engineering. Okay, well, I can see that, because you're gonna, if you're in school right now for engineering, yeah, because AI is pretty much gonna be all that we're doing pretty soon. So I would say it's definitely, worth you worth you taking a look at. But you can prompt it. You can always say, I don't want to do AI or something other than AI. You know. Um, but yeah, skill sets are very important, and now they're more important than ever. So I was talking to a mentor of mine, and he said, and he mentors, adults and kids. And he was like, I was talking to the kids at such and such school, and I was telling them, AI is great, but who's going to do your farming? Who's going to really be washing your clothes and ironing? Like, yeah, these are things a robot can do. But what happens if the grid goes down? See, there's two sides to every coin, right? I don't know how many of you all here have seen Terminator. 1, 2, 3, and the last one with when they brought back, Arnold Schwarzenegger and he dies. Oh, I hope that wasn't a spoiler for anybody. But they tell you then. They told you in the Terminator. They warned us in the Matrix, right? What was that? What was that other movie where Solving Green? They told you in Solving Green, when there was a so-called food shortage, and they chopping up people in packaging it and call it food. These, yeah, I mean, it's entertainment, but I mean, look around. It's happening now. They're bioengineering meat and shit. We don't know what's in this stuff. You know, they slap a label on it, tell you it's organic, and charge you out the wazoo for it. And then you go to the doctor and run your blood test, and oh, you tested high for heavy metals. Oh well, shit. I wonder why. So grow where you can, when you can, buy organic. Farm. Farm stand where you can. I know it's hard, but do the best that you can. Don't beat yourself up about it. Do the best that you can. Now, you can take chlorophyll, right? AKA plant blood. Um, you notice when you chop up vegetables, something like kale, collard greens, celery, cilantro, that green stuff that's on your hand, that's chlorophyll, aka plant blood, right? Excellent for your body. Excellent. It is an excellent cleanser and detoxer. So you could take what I take in the morning. I get up. I have vitamins from the wellness store that I take. I take, it's called Luminex. It's a blend. It's an ashwagandha, rhodiola, and it has some other mushrooms in it, right? That's for your nervous system. I take that. Um, your nervous system also works in tandem with your lymphatic system. More on that in another video. Just follow me, guys. So I take that. I take chlorophyll. I take burdock root. Burdock root is a blood cleanser. And I also take dandelion root, right? That helps move your lymphatic system. It's also a blood cleanser. So there are things that you can do to kind of fortify your body, right? So, again, going back to my mentor, he and I are talking, and we're talking about, tech and a bunch of different things. And we were talking about investments, and, he was like, I've been telling you guys, get you some gold and silver, because if you look around, a lot of these millionaires and billionaires are cashing out, and they're getting the hell out of the U.S. They're selling businesses, they're selling assets, and they're buying gold and silver, and they're getting the hell out of Dodge. You see more and more people on the nomad life, our RV and Winnebago life. Oh, we're going to get a trailer. Hey, now is probably as good enough a time to buy a trailer as ever. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see this green parakeet. That's it flying. Let me see if I can get her in the tree. Let's see. I'm pointing. Can you guys see her? There's another one. I love the green parakeets, guys. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. I just wanted to, encourage you guys. It's not the end of the world. If your job is laying off, fuck them. Take your severance. If you're able to go back to school for free, then go back to school for free. If your job is going to pay for your education for free, then do it. And truth be told, a lot of people are going back to school for the refund check for those that qualify for one. So you put a few extra dollars in your pocket, and you get another certification or degree or something under your belt. Because at one point, all of this shit's gonna be obsolete. Within, I'd probably say the next 30, 40 years, this shit's gonna be obsolete. A lot of this stuff is gonna be mass produced, what's not already being mass produced, and AI is, gonna take over. I don't know if you guys seen the robot that was in China that was doing dishes. Hey, it's out there. What you have to do is you have to figure out how you're going to pivot. And this is something that um, I counsel you guys about too. You know, um, I've seen a lot of nurses lately get, let go. Oh, there's no budget, reducing, spending, and these are nurses that have been at a job 10 plus years. So, when you put in that kind of time and you're like maybe 5 years shy of retirement, it's because they don't want to pay you your benefits. They don't want to pay you that pension. And I tell my nurses, it's so much you can do with your nursing degree. You can open up a diagnostic lab. You can open up a home health um, agency. You can open up a nursing facility. Go contract with the VA. Go on sam.gov and apply for your UEI number and your cage number. Get ahead of the curve. Um, and I don't know about you, Maverick, or I know you say you're in school for engineering. There are a ton of grants available now for folks with engineering expertise. Data analytics, project management, anything around information, data, people, HEDIS measures, all of that. It's in high demand, very high demand. So don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. That breeze feels good. Use that AI to your advantage. You know, um, when you bid for those different contracts, of course you're bidding, so you're not guaranteed to get it. But the point is, do it. Nothing beats a failure but a try. Do you know the government is awarding contracts for pencils? Even if you say, you know, I'm fresh out of high school, I'm fresh out of college, I don't really have any of these, said skills. Get your business started. Get your LLC, however you want to structure that. Go on sam.gov. Apply for your cage number, your UEI number. It's free. Don't let anybody trick you into paying for it. It's absolutely free. You can do it yourself. They have a help option. You can call them, email them, or chat with them, and they will help you. I've helped establish that with a few of my clients. They're very nice. I helped a woman a couple weeks ago bed on chairs for, it was a what do they call it, orthopedic lab for the government, and they needed a particular chair and quantity. She bid on it. She should know if she's going to be awarded that. I think before the end of June. Suffice to say, she's a teacher. My teachers are tired. My nurses are tired. The firemen, the policemen, y'all are tired. Medicaid, DHS workers, tired. Just tired. They're tired of the bullshit. They're tired of not getting the raises. They're tired of being tired. Who wants to work? Who wants to go to a job and be told you're expected to do above and beyond, but don't expect a pay raise? That's a slap in the face. It's 2026. Who wants to do that shit for free? Not I. Not I. When companies have that type of structure, that should be a red flag. By all means, if you need a job, you got to do what you got to do. But don't settle. Set yourself up to win. Book a session with me. My link is in the description in the bio. We'll do a consultation, see what your skills are, and let's see how you can pivot. Because now is the time where you need to prepare. Should have already been preparing. But if you're not, start today. Start today. Put your information in ChatGPT, Claude, whatever AI software you like. Prompt it. It will give you suggestions. You look at the criteria, look and see if this is something you can do. You know, if you're at a halfway decent company, look into tuition reimbursement. Look into what certifications you would need to move around in the company if that's what you want to do. See, these are things I learned and experienced. I didn't have anybody from HR like, hey, well, have you thought about such and such and such and such? I was working for a hospital before I started consulting. I was working for a major company, major hospital, one of the top 5 in Chicago. I put in over a year and a half period. I put in for maybe 80 some positions. I was denied for every single one. And these were positions that I was qualified for. I mean, overqualified and well qualified for. Don't be scared, Maverick. Don't be scared. We are all in this together. You know, we're going to get through it. I finally met with my manager during a one-on-one. And she said, yeah, I know you're trying to move around in the company, and I know I've seen you put in several positions. Is there a reason why you're looking to move around? Now, y'all, I was like 22, 23. I had proven all the metrics. I scored high on what I needed to score high on. You know, I was one of the top rating employees in my department. I said, I need more money. You all giving a 3% raise is not paying my bills. And this was, I'm talking 20 some years ago. And she says, well, you know, I'd hate to see you go, but you're just so good here and we love you here. And, you know, I just can't afford to let you go. Ding, ding, ding. So now I know that she's blocking me. So you know what I did? I found another job with another company. I said, fuck this shit, I'm out. You're right, Maverick, no one cares. You're absolutely right. But to this day, I still know people that work there. In that same department. In that same department. And I'm like, what the hell? I was working with a client of mine who's 55. And she's like, you know what, coach? I ain't going back to school. I don't want to. I don't have a bandwidth for it. I said, okay. Well, have you thought about certifications? And currently, you know, her job just laid her off. So I don't know if anyone here is familiar with the WIOA program. It's WIOA. What that program does is it sends people either back to school or it funds certifications for people who are unemployed. You apply and, you know, you go from there. So she's almost through her project management certification. I said, look, this is what you do. And this is where I tell people to stop being scared and bet on yourself. She's like, well, I'm not due to finish for another month. I said, put that shit on your resume today. She's like, but I'm not finished. I said, put it on your resume today and see if you don't get calls. I showed her how to optimize her resume, you know, for each position. She has 3 interviews lined up between now and the next 2 weeks. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. Sometimes we limit ourselves. Sometimes we limit ourselves. Stop doing that shit. Stop limiting yourself. Okay? So, let's see. This looks like a clean area. Stop limiting yourselves, guys. You are so welcome. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't, I'm just out here in the park. I don't have one, I don't have one on me. Cause is that any better? My hand might have been covering the mic. Um, but yeah, always bet on yourself. Go ahead and take that leap. Don't be afraid because nobody's going to give you anything. You got to ask for it. And there's always more than one way to skin a cat. You know what I'm saying? If you've been with a company and they're not, see, I'm clearing my throat because now I got my lymphatic system moving. You see how that works? I'm telling you, man, the human body is something else. If you give it what it needs and what it asks for, it will provide in a bounty. We have ailments a lot of times. It's environmental, it's the food that we intake, and then other times it's lack of supplements, it's lack of minerals. I know I'm getting a little off topic. Well, not really, because this is health and wealth. But doctors are not trained in nutrition. Doctors are trained simply to stop your symptoms. Most of them don't get to the root cause. Example, I'm working with a young woman now who has arthritis, and she's in her 30s. And she doesn't have, rheumatoid arthritis, but she's on the heavier side, or she was, on the heavier side. I've been working with her for about 8 months now. And she's lost about 40 pounds. And when she came to me, I said, so what's your chief complaint? What are you looking to change? And she's like, I'm just tired of being in pain. My knees hurt every day. My hips hurt every day. I said, okay, do you exercise? She says, no, I work remotely. I sit down all day. Okay. I said, so if you lose 5 pounds, that's like 10 pounds of weight off your knee. And she's like, no, the doctor didn't tell me that. He just, recommended me for knee surgery. Oh, okay. I said, well, let's do a couple of things first. I mean, ultimately, it's up to you. If you want to, have knee surgery, but there are alternatives that you can try first. So I said, you need to lose some weight. You're going to lose weight by eating better and making healthier decisions. I myself, I go between a vegetarian and a vegan diet. That's what worked for me when I got rid of my fibroids and my headaches and my knee pain that I had. I went vegan. That is what worked for me and my system. So I always recommend that to people. People will say, and first thing she says, oh, I can't be no vegan. I like to eat my cheese. I said, but your cheese is making your knees hurt. See, listen, when you come to me for a consultation, you're not paying me for me to tell you what you want to hear. You're paying me to tell you what you need to hear to get your desired result. Yes, you're absolutely right, Maverick. And she was a little hesitant at first. I don't know if you guys can see this squirrel. He's been staring at me since I've been sitting here. um oh no, that was sand. I'm sitting across from the baseball, what is this, the dugout, I guess, I don't know. And it was a nice breeze that just was blowing all the sand. So anyway, she's like, oh, she's making all these excuses. And I said, listen, you're the one with the knee pain. You're the one that has these problems. So the doctor is not telling you what you want to hear, or what you need to hear at this point. So let's figure something else out. So she's like, okay. I said, if you don't want to go vegan, try vegetarian. So I can't eat any meat. Look, you're trying to eradicate the mucus in your system, right? You're trying to get your lymphatic system moving. You're trying to get rid of pain. Dead things are linked to pain. Yes, Maverick, I am. I'm in the US. And see, I'm glad you asked that because here in the US, we are not taught anything holistic for the most part. Like in Western medicine does not give you a holistic alternative. And a lot of times when you mention something holistic, it's, oh, well, it's not FDA approved and, all of that crap, you know. So, I mean, I've been seeing a naturopath for the last 20 years, right? Um, but however, back to this client, it was mind over matter, and that's what a lot of things, right? It's fear will stop you from doing so many things. It could be the fear of the unknown. It could be the fear of succeeding. It could even be the fear of failing. But damn it, nothing beats a failure but a try. If you try something once and it don't work, then you know not to do that shit again, right? Simple. So I'm like, well, what do you eat every day, like on a consistent basis? What do you eat for breakfast? And she was like, oh, sometimes, I'll order from Mickey D's or something like that, or order from the diner, and I'll get the pancakes and stuff like that. I said, okay, so you're overloading your system earlier. That's number one. I said, what time do you stop eating? And she's like, well, I usually eat around 5 or 6, but I snack. She was like, I usually have a snack around 10 o'clock. So what does your snack? Oh, I have ice cream, cookies, maybe whatever I cooked, I might, nibble or something on that. Okay, so stop that. Stop eating after 7 o'clock because you need to give your system a chance to rest. That's why we're supposed to, and there's something called a circadian rhythm, right? Which is basically operating on nature's rhythm and the rhythm of the sun. When you overload your system too early and it has to start working too fast, it cannot do what it's supposed to properly do. So number one, that's screwing up your digestive system, right? And she has GERD, she's got acid reflux too. So I said, this is what we're gonna do. I'm just try this for 5 days, not even 7. I said, just try this for 5 days. For 5 days, you are not going to eat before 11 a.m. And when you do eat, you're going to eat fruit, fresh fruit. You can freeze it and blend it or just eat a bowl of fruit. When it's time for you to have lunch, around 1 o'clock, if you start around like 11, by 12:31, you're going to be hungry again, especially if you're eating like citrus, right? If you eat something like, mango or, let me see, bananas, those will keep you fuller for longer. You're absolutely right, Maverick. It's so much money. It's so much money in the medical system and in pharmaceuticals. It's insane. So I said, lunchtime, you eat a nice green salad, put your fruits and vegetables on there, cucumbers, tomatoes. You can make you a watermelon salad if you like. You can make you a fruit salad, um, if you want, if you still want to eat the meat, then get you some grilled chicken or some fish. Start with some salmon. And then for dinner, if you want a little meat, eat something a little heavier, then eat something that has legumes in it, right? Pinto beans, garbanzo beans, black beans, navy beans, right? Get you some black rice or brown rice. Yes, salad is absolutely the best. And with her, I told her, I said, well, if you eat a salad, you need to get a dark green salad. So instead of the romaine lettuce, I need you to think dark green salads, dark baby greens. Why? Because she needed the fiber. She needed the fiber to help push, help to cleanse, her system and push that stuff along. I said, do this for a week, and I'll call you Sunday, and you tell me how you feel. And she was like, when I talked to her, she was like, I gotta be honest with you. I only dated for 4 days. Because the first day I was like, I don't know if I can do this. But she was like, I did it 4 days. I said, okay, that's the start. So how did you feel for the 4 days? And she was like, I felt good. And so I did it yesterday, which was Saturday. So she was supposed to do Friday, but she did Tuesday to Saturday. Is what she gave herself an extra day, so she still did the 5 days, but she did the other day, on her own. So she did that the first week, and she felt great. She was like, I wasn't as tired. I still had the knee pain, but I wasn't as tired, so I did feel a difference, and I did poop more. I was like, good. You should be pooping every time you eat. If you don't, we have a problem. I don't know that here the standard is in the U.S. If you poop once a day or twice a week or something, you're okay. But no, you're not. You're not. So anyway, make a long story short, she's doing great, right? She's lost, I think, like maybe 50, 40, 45 pounds. She's lost 45 pounds, I think, in total. And she's walking every day. She's gonna start swimming at the park district here. So suffice to say, she took her health into her own hands, right? And she's doing better. And another thing I told her too, I told her to start blending aloe vera with blueberries, because pure aloe vera, it's an acquired taste. It's an acquired taste. So she takes the aloe vera. Aloe vera has something in it called and I'm probably gonna butcher this word, but I think it's anisin, or I can't pronounce it right now because I'm not looking at the word, but it's the active ingredient in aloe vera. It will stimulate your stem cells, and it will help eradicate pain. So if you're someone that, they always tell us that aloe vera is good for our skin, which it is, right? Topically it works, but if you're having something you're having a reaction on your skin, that means you're having a reaction inside. So you want to fix on the inside too. You fix the outside and the inside, then you fix the outside. So she started taking that, and she said that works. And she takes, other things too. She's taking, curcumin and turmeric and ginger, and she's on bladder she's on sea moss. um her thyroid levels were really low, so she takes sea moss, and that's been helping her also. um so anyhow, just want to let you all know that how important your health is. Your health is just as important as your wealth, and your health is your wealth. Your wealth is your health. Because who wants to, have all this money and they're sick and they can't enjoy it, right? That kind of defeats the purpose. What's the point of me being rich and I can't do shit? And I'm sick all the time, and I can't enjoy anything. You're absolutely right, Maverick. Health is everything. Health is absolutely everything. So I'm gonna get off of here. I just wanted to come in and share those tidbits with you. If you want a consultation, you can just send me a message, comment on the video. I'll be more than happy to reply and answer your questions. I just want to let you all know, don't be scared about what you see on the news and stuff. Um, there's, listen, nature is abundant. Nature is so abundant, and everything we need is here to cure whatever issue that we have. You know, oregano oil. Take your oregano oil. Take your zinc, guys. Take your zinc and take your oregano oil. For ladies, when we take oregano oil, one, everyone should be taking a probiotic, but especially women, when we are taking oregano oil, you want to triple up on your probiotic. Why? Because oregano oil will kill off all of the bacteria and stuff, and you will end up with a yeast infection. Oh, you're absolutely welcome, Maverick. You are so welcome. So, Remember, vitamin C, take your zinc, your D3 and K2. Might be mindful of your water solubles or versus your fat soluble or bottoms supplements, and get as much vitamin D and sun and nature, as you can, because this is what's going to heal us. Don't be afraid. They're saying, "Oh, it's too hot. Oh, you're going to burn your skin." No. If you eat right, you are going to have less of a reaction with the sun. So, um, I am going to go home and spend some time with my family and probably plant me some more seeds. I just bought a few more seeds. Yes, it does. We gotta love the vitamin D. So, thank you guys for coming in, Maverick. I appreciate you so much. I enjoyed your kind words and um, your comments, and I hope to see you guys soon. So, peace and love. Be good to yourselves.